Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of RC Classic Garage, where I share the ownership experience of my classic car collection. Now, over the past 25 years, I have built a collection of classic cars, ranging from 1959 to the early 2000s. I've owned some of these cars for over 20 years, like my AC Cobra, my Alfa Romeo Giulietta, many for over 10 years, like the E-Type, the MGA, and a few Alfas. And then I've had more recent additions to the collection, like the Ferrari 360 and the Porsche 911. Now, I don't see these classic cars as investments, but because I've spent so much money buying, restoring, maintaining and building this collection, I'd be lying if I said I didn't keep an eye on the market and their values. The main thing is I've had 25 years of fun and great memories building up this collection. And as an added benefit, I've not lost much money in doing so, and that's because of something called historical appreciation. But that was never my intention when I set out to build this collection. Now, with a collection this size, as I said, market trends are hard to ignore, and historically they have worked in my favor. But I think we have some changes on the horizon that will see classic car prices changing. The question is, will we see a market crash? Now, let's start with two personal examples. My E-Type Jaguar, arguably one of the most iconic classic cars of all time. Now, I've owned this car for almost 13 years, and in that time I've seen its value triple. And then we have my MGA Twin Cam, a rare, one of 2,711 historically significant car for MG. Now, at first I saw the value of this car pretty much hold flat, but over the last 4 to 5 years I've seen the value half. That's right, half. And I don't think this is an isolated case. I think this is a continued trend we're going to see as the market evolves. Classic cars are deeply tied to nostalgia. Buyers are drawn to cars that they grew up idolizing. And that's why cars from the 80s, 90s and early 2000s are increasing sharply in value, like the BMW M3, the Ford Cosworth and the Ferrari 355. Now, there's something in the market called the 25-year rule. And the concept is that as cars reach 25 years old, they transition from being used cars to collectibles because they're fully depreciated, and people who grew up idolizing them are now in their 30s and 40s with the disposable income to be able to go out and buy them. They start buying cars that were once their dreams, and these cars then start increasing in value. Now, I think that concept applies to cars between the ages of 25 years to 50 years old. Take my Porsche 928 or the 996, for example. Both a bit controversial, but as they age into classic cars, people may have grown up watching movies like Risky Business, or they often tell me my uncle owned one and I fell in love with the shape. Well, those people are now in their 30s, 40s and 50s and going out and buying them. Now, the same goes for the Ferrari 360, where the prices are starting to rise. But these cars are riding on nostalgia. And here's the thing, nostalgia has an expiry date. And that's what I have seen with my classic car collection. Nostalgia has gone up to about 50 years to plateau in value, and then 60 years to start declining. Now, there are obviously exceptions to all of this. Think Ferrari 250 GTO, F40, or some homologation specials. Truly special and limited edition cars, as they will never go out of style and always command a premium. Now, for mass-produced classics from the 50s and 60s, like the MGB, the Austin Healey, the Triumph Spitfire, it's a different story. These cars will always be loved, but their values are unlikely to skyrocket. Now, it's not a crash, it's a gradual fade in values, as the older generations who deem these cars to have nostalgia are now in their late 70s, early 80s, and younger generations just don't have the same memories and love as, say, the grandparents did. So here's what I think. Cars from the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, like the Ferrari 360, the Porsche 911, and even the Porsche 928, will hold their values, and the right ones probably appreciate steadily over time. They're riding the wave of nostalgia. But then older classics from the 50s and 60s will gradually decline. They will still be loved, but they won't command the prices they do today. And that's simply as demand for them starts to fade. And then there are cars from the 30s or 40s. And these cars have very limited demand. And I think this is where we'll see the biggest drops in value over the years to come, as there is very limited demand for these cars. And that fall is already on the back of large declines that we've already seen. Now, this does not mean a sudden crash in the classic car market. It's more a long-term evolution of things that I'm seeing. And because these trends are very long-term, and I am a long-term holder of cars, that is how I've assessed the market. I've ignored short-term inflationary impacts, high interest rates, or ones that impact demand in the shorter term, as I see these as more opportunistic moments rather than the long-term trends. So does this mean I'll be changing my collection around, speculating on this? Well, no. Because I'm actually looking at it that I've owned these cars for 25 years and I've really enjoyed loving, owning and maintaining them. And hopefully a long-term holder. I actually see it as an opportunity to acquire maybe some 60s cars that I've always wanted that maybe will reduce slightly in price. And an example is an Austin Healey 3000. Should its value decrease like the MGA twin cam has, well, actually I see that as being affordable once again, and I would consider adding it to the collection because it's a car I've always wanted to own. I'll also go ahead putting in some more modern classics into the collection and hopefully over time get some appreciation on those. But here's the thing for me, owning classic cars isn't about making money. I mean, even if you did take the E-Type for example, where it has tripled in value, the cost of ownership and maintenance, insurance, repairs that I've done to this car over the past 13 years have offset that appreciation. So it really is all about the love of the car. Now I think that's about to change for me, as there will no longer be appreciation, particularly on some of these older 60s cars. Now if you're in this hobby purely for investment, I think you'll be seriously disappointed, because classic cars are about passion and not profit. Buy what you love, maintain it well, and enjoy the journey, because the memories and friends you will make are absolutely priceless. But I want to hear from you. What do you think will happen to classic car prices? Are we about to head for a much more drastic classic car market crash, or do you think the market will surprise us? Let me know what you think in the comments below. So thank you for watching another episode of RC Classic Garage, where we discussed the classic car market going forward. This channel is all about the ownership experience of my classic car collection. So please do hit the subscribe button, hit the like button for the video, because it really does help. Thanks again for watching. It's been great having you. See you all next time.